Number 21 Baylor women's basketball lost to number 23 Oklahoma, 84 to 73. I will say this: Baylor was down by four. 4:46 left in the fourth quarter, after being down in by double digits, and Oklahoma called timeout. Oklahoma responded with the 12-5 run. In addition, the first three possessions for Baylor offensively were turnovers, and they couldn't get stops. So obviously, not scoring hurt, but the turnovers and then the points off of it. I mean, that's the truth. And when you look at the numbers for this game, it makes sense why Oklahoma won this game. And it's a mild upset in terms of ranking, but Oklahoma was favored by 2.5 points. And yes, it was on the ESPN app. And I apologize if I'm looking down. I cannot memorize every single stat. Points on turnovers favored Oklahoma 22 to 13. And both teams had 17 turnovers. Yeah, edge goes to Oklahoma and capitalizing more. Fast break points favored Baylor actually 17 to 15. But points in the paint favored Oklahoma 38 to 30. And the largest lead for Oklahoma was 14 points. Baylor's was just 3. And Baylor did not shoot the ball good in this game. 36.8% from the field on 68 attempts. 34.8% on threes on 23 attempts. Which is better than in the 20s. Though it could have been better because Belafonte really missed a few threes here and there. And Sarah Andrews as well. But it's all about shot selection. And they were great at the free throw line. 15 for 16, which is 93.8%. 37 rebounds, 13 as offensive. 16 assists, 10 steals, 4 blocks, 17 turnovers, like I said. That's way too much. 15 fouls. And how many points off the bench? Okay, 9 plus 5, that's 14, plus 17, that's 27 points. 3 double-digit scores are combined for, 13 plus 13, that's 26 plus 14, that's 40 points. And what's crazy is Sarah Andrews did not shoot the ball bad in this game. Dre Edwards, Darion Liv, Paige Bugs, and Asia Blackwell had off games. All 3 of them. And Bugs was good the last 2 games prior to this. Tonight, they were just missing wide open layups, and some of those shots were blocked. I will say that when you look at the Oklahoma numbers for the blocks. And Oklahoma had 24 points on the bench, including a 20-point scorer who led the game tonight. And Kirsten Johnson, who normally averages 5 points per game. 4 times the average. And they let her go off. That doesn't help. And 5 double-digit scores that combine for, the non-double-digit scores combine for 10 points, so 74 points, and it's not including one other player with 6 or more points with 6. And Baylor, by the way, did have 3 players with 6 or more that combined for 8 plus 7. That's 15 plus 9. That's 24. And Oklahoma shot the ball good in this game. 45.8% from the field on 72 attempts. What's crazy is they only made 1 3 in the first half. They made 6 in the second half. 24.1% on threes on 29 attempts, which, like I said, 1 3 was made in the first half. They made 6 in the second. I don't remember how many attempts on either half. So, 78.6% on free throws on 14 attempts, 45 rebounds, 16 of those offensive, 26 assists, 7 steals, 9 blocks, 17 turns, like I said, and 17 fouls. So, when Baylor loses games, they lose the rebounding battle. And they go against a team that rebounds the ball well, that's what happened. And they lose. I mean, it's either that or don't shoot the ball good. So, I'm just telling you that up front. And I do think some of the effort for Baylor could have been better. And I give Oklahoma credit on the win. I'm just saying what Nikki Collins said. And on some of the post-game, which there were some good things like getting Skylar Vane in foul trouble early. But when she went away, Oklahoma does not have a lot of posts that could score. And we were just happy that she was out of the game, but we let the other post players score on us. Yeah, including some wide open shots. I mean, and they didn't do a good enough job switching, especially on back screening, and missed key rebounds. That that every like Oklahoma played in a tempo in this game that helped Baylor get back into this game, but the defense and the rebounding let us down. That's what Nikki Collins said, and we missed uncontested layups, and we had our chances, but we turned the ball over 3 straight times. And the bench fit was fantastic, and bailed us out twice, but it didn't come out well in the third for on both ends of the floor. But in the fourth quarter, it helped. And Jana is growing more confidence and did exactly what the game plan was. We need to do a better job starting 1 through 8 in terms of rotation, offensively and defensively, besides rebounding. This is me paraphrasing. I mean, on some of this stuff I'm saying, but from Nikki calling on post game radio is just paraphrasing. So, and we need to be quicker to the ball. And what has hurt us the most was the start in the third quarter as well. So that's just some of the game comments, and saw some growth from the bench, and disappointed in the results. And the bench is going to challenge the starters to be better on both ends, and we can't take 3-minute stretches off. We need to be more consistent on both ends of the court. Yep. I have to agree. And something has to change. And obviously, Oklahoma State is in first place in the Big 12, 12-1. And Baylor is now 7-6. And they're currently 1, 2, 3, 6. Technically, 6. Tied for 6 with Kansas, but then Kansas beat them that first time. So the next meeting with them will be important because they don't play Iowa State again. And obviously at this point, forget a top 4 seed for Baylor for the Big 12 tournament, which would mean double bye. So yeah, and I'll go over the remaining schedules for both teams, but I'll explain the importance in the Big 12 tournament soon. Okay, the next 2 games for Baylor are at home. Texas Tech, that they are reeling right now. And they got Kansas at home, which they lost by 21. And nothing. What could have gone wrong went wrong against Kansas the first time. So, and they got to go on the road to West Virginia, who might be ranked still, mind you. And we beat them at home. So it's not going to be an easy game. And you saw how difficult they played us. I mean, that's the truth. They got on the road to Cincinnati, which I know Cincinnati's not a great team, but look, we lost to BYU. We lost to Kansas. I mean, and the truth is, Kansas at the time was 0-3. Now they're on the bubble in the Big 12. They are on the bubble, and they need all the quality wins they could get. So, yeah, we better be wary of that Kansas game. And then they got Oklahoma State at home. So, I'm just telling the truth. And honestly, Oklahoma now has a 2-game lead over Texas, West Virginia, and Kansas State. And yes, Kansas State lost, despite having a Yoka lead back tonight, which I'll go in a different video. Well, guess what, Oklahoma? Got to go on the road to West Virginia. Yikes. And that's a West Virginia team at that. Then you got to go on the road to Cincinnati. You got Oklahoma State at home. Which, yeah. And then you got Texas at home, which you beat them last time. So, it's going to be interesting. And the last game, obviously, of the season is at Kansas. And Kansas is the bubble team, like I said. They're desperate for all the quality wins they could get at this point. I'm just telling the truth. And obviously, the second round, like the second round games, like the bottom four teams will play against each other like 12 versus 13, 11 versus 14. But honestly, the five seed will take on the 12 versus 13 matchup, which I don't know how realistic is that for Baylor at this point. But they need to find a way to string some wins together. I mean, just telling the truth and not just win one game, lose the next. Win one game, lose the next. They need to be consistent. I don't know if they're the team. I don't. Are they? Here's my question to you, to y'all, and to myself. Are they the team that started 14-0, or the last 10 games? Because they're 4-6 since then. And I believe the answer is somewhere in between. I mean, that's the truth. And the thing about it is, some people are going to say, why not play Letty Vasconcelos, a 6'7" freshman, to get more size in there? She's not physical enough. She's a freshman. She's not ready. It's kind of like Kyla from Abraham from last year. And even this year, she hasn't played in a long time. We miss Madison Bartley. She has experience, and I get she doesn't have a lot of production, but you gotta admit, her size would have helped. I mean, she's the most physical post player. So, I'm on defense for the team. And it's the truth. And Nikki Cohen even said it as much at the coaches show. So, last week, too. So, anyway. The 8 will play the 9, which, at this point, I don't want to be an 8 seed if you're Baylor. You don't want to be an 8 seed. I would rather be a 6 or 7. I do think the probability, after that West Virginia game, that's the hardest game left on the schedule. But you cannot take the rest of the opponents lightly. But you need to win the other games, no matter what. You really do. Even if you just lose to West Virginia, that's it. I mean, you gotta win the other games. Or better yet, win the rest of the games and get some positive momentum going into the Big 12 tournament and into March Madness. I'm just telling the truth, and some people are just overreacting and saying, we're going to be a bubble team. Do they know what it takes to be a bubble team? According to bracketology, probably not. And I know we have two, and Iowa State is a bad loss. They're like on the first 4 out list, just like Kansas is. But still. And we even lose to BYU as well. That's a bad loss. We cannot lose to teams like that. We have to beat Texas Tech. And I get they're 16-10, but they're reeling right now. And we have to beat Kansas. You got to find a way to beat Cincinnati and Oklahoma State on the road. I mean, Oklahoma State at home. And if you could steal West Virginia, that would be great. Because that way it gets you a potential, another quality win, and a potential top 25 game next week. You need to find a way to get some momentum going to think about a top 4 seed for the NCAA tournament, which I don't know how realistic it is to be a 4 seed at this point. But get yourself in a position to be a dangerous 5 seed. I mean, and just hope you are in a 4 seed region that you could potentially beat. But then again, you cannot take the 12 seed for whoever your NCAA tournament is for granted. I'm just telling the truth here, but we have to rebound the ball better. And the losses, the rebounding has been the problem. I mean, I'm just telling the truth. And Sarah Andrews, prior to this game, whenever Baylor lost, She didn't shoot the ball good. That was not the case tonight. It's just a rebounding now. It seems like that's the problem in all these games. So, anyways, in terms of the losses. So, anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later. On the road to 600 subscribers, of course, ultimate goal. That's 1,000 more, so make money out the score so I can view. Comment video really helps YouTube algorithm so more people can see it. Sharing the video does help as well, so more people can watch. And if you're watching and not subscribed, hit subscribe button. It's free the notification bell as well.